Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anthony Sardinha, the voice actor for Lamar Williams from MetaRunner, and I believe he also voiced Dr. Sheridan. Is that true?
Yes, it is. I voiced two characters for the MetaRunner series.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Alright, so before we actually get into some questions, since some of my subscribers may or may not be familiar with MetaRunner, if I could please ask you to give a brief description of your character or characters, in your case, and a brief impersonation if that's not too much trouble.
Yeah, sure thing. So MetaRunner is essentially a show about this woman named Tari waking up in this world where video games pretty much run everything. They're a way to live, they're a way to make money, like video games run everything. And Tari wakes up and she has this contraption called a MetaRunner arm, which allows her to go into the games, play them, and just become like amazing. And the character I play, Lamar Williams, you know, he's more like the laid back kind of like fun, chill character and all that, always cracking jokes, but when things need to be done and need to be serious, he always makes sure that things get done seriously. And Dr. Sheridan is pretty much the person who, spoilers, is the first voice you hear in all of MetaRunner because he's trying to figure out everything that's going on because he was hired by an evil corporation called Task Corp. Should I say that name? Yeah, it doesn't matter. They are just there to try and make MetaRunner amazing. And so it's essentially these rebels against this corporation who are using gaming to control the world, more or less.
Cool. Alright, so we get an impersonation of Lamar?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I'd already... Okay, cool. Sorry, I know you're scared. I was doing MD5 found me, but I swear on all the 2D twin-tailed Sundura girls out there, if you stick with us, you stay.
Yeah.
Lamar is a huge weeb. He loves his body pillars.
Yeah, classic weeb Lamar. But anyways, my first question is, what specific traits about your character do you enjoy?
I like that Lamar is so kind of like chill. Like I keep saying chill, but in reality, like the situation that he is in is very not chill. He's trying to keep things optimistic. He's trying to be a funny guy with everything that's going on, and he tries to bring that to the group. He tries to bring that humor and tries to bring that love. Like not everything needs to be super serious, but even though it is serious, you still need to have those moments of brevity. And Dr. Sheridan is also similar in that vein, but he's a lot more off the walls. Like he just wants to make something amazing. He wants to be able to create something brand new, and it may not work in his favor. Yeah,
I guess that's a pretty good trait. I'm very much the same way in my little circle of friends in real life. I'm not really the Chad nor the expert in anything, but I'm a smart guy and I'm really nice and humorous to people.
Right on, that's good.
Okay, next question is, how long have you been a voice actor for?
Well, I started off, oh my gosh, way back in 2014, I want to say. I used to do these, sorry, not 14, 2004.
Oh.
I used to do these, yeah, way longer. I used to do these, like little radio plays with this little microphone that a friend of mine bought me, and I'd do like different impersonations of cartoon characters, celebrities, video game characters, you know, stuff like that. And eventually then YouTube became a thing, and I saw people were taking footage and then just voicing over them, like a bridge series or parodies, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, I'm already kind of doing that with like CDs and this. I'm sure I could do this. And so I did, and then eventually a buddy of mine found some of the stuff that I was doing, and he said, hey man, we should meet up and talk about doing this professionally. And I was like, oh okay, sure. So we met up. He showed me like a bunch of other stuff that people were doing, like comic dubs and fan dubs, and that had a lot more like production value into them rather than just voice and music without any mastering and all that. And he showed me a different website, it's like Voice Acting Alliance, RIP, Voice Acting Club, and a bunch of other websites. And from there, I kind of went, all right, I'm going to try doing this professionally.
Wow.
And and then back in 2010, my buddy also helped me make a demo reel, helped me get into an agency, and in 2010, I was able to book my first televised union role. I'm still non-union, so I'm able to still work as long as I pay for a permit, and then also some other stuff for video games, and have since then increased all my clientele lists and have done I guess been doing work professionally since 2010, so almost 10 years now.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Alright, next question. What other films or shows or etc. did you star in?
I'm in another series called Epithet Erased, that's also on YouTube. I'm a part of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I play Captain Ginyu Dodoria, Salza, Nikki from the Dead Zone movie, Salza from the Cooler movie, and Misty Satan. I'm also in Hellsing Ultimate Abridged as Dandy Man. In Final Fantasy VII Mission Abridged, I play Barret and a bunch of other miscellaneous characters. I'm in another web series called Super Science Friends, Fistmaster. Oh my gosh. Did some. My first televised role that I mentioned earlier was a show called Totally Spies.
Oh, I remember that show.
Yeah, if you're Canadian, there's a good chance. I was in the latest season. Also, Carl's Car Wash. Oh my gosh, a bunch of other children's shows. Camp Lake Bottom. Oh my gosh. Trying to remember this one like Nick Jr. show, Corn and Peg.
Oh wow.
And most recently Paw Patrol as well. So I've been able to do a lot of stuff in studio as well as a bunch of other video games. Also, Sticking to the Man, a lot of stuff from Zoink Games. That's been real good. But I've kind of put my footing on a bunch of different places.
Wow, that's quite a hefty list you've got there. And Epithet Erased, I'm vaguely familiar with it because the person I'm working with actually did speed paints on one of the characters.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. What's your favorite film and why?
Favorite film? It's so interesting because like every time I get the word like my most favorite film, I think it might have to be Avengers Endgame, only because it took 10 years to kind of like build up this like big the thing that I've always wanted, just a bunch of people that you know all congregated into one thing and they all have that moment to shine, in Avengers Endgame brings that. But there's a lot of other films that I really like. I love Lighthouse. Lighthouse was phenomenal. Take Shelter is also a really good one with Michael Shannon. That one's like a good 10 years. Black Dynamite's really funny. The Green Mile, that was real good. Shawshank Redemption, that was great. Oh man, there's a lot of there are a lot that I would. It's always so hard to paint a favorite movie because like I'll really like a movie, but then I'll like forget about it, and then when somebody brings it up, I'll be like, oh, that's right. This was awesome because A, B, and C.
Wow.
I think Avengers Endgame kind of just it gives me that. It gives me what I wanted in terms of like excitement.
Yeah, I do agree. Endgame was probably one of my favorite movies too, but I have a lot of favorite movies, namely a couple movies from the Star Wars saga, so Revenge of the Sith and The Force Awakens, but my all-time favorite movies have to be Endgame, Pacific Rim, definitely Pacific Rim, and Wall-E. Really good movies, might I add.
I saw the second Pacific Rim, actually my very first interaction with the second Pacific Rim movie was I was on a plane, and I wasn't watching it, the person in front of me was watching it, and I just turned my head to kind of like look through the seat, and the very first scene that I got was the robot is landed on the ship, and then it just topples over, and I thought to myself, isn't that the best metaphor for Pacific Rim 2?
Yeah, it wasn't really good compared to the first Pacific Rim, but it was still okay in its own rights.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Alright, what's your favorite part about being a voice actor for Meta Runner?
I would say just the ability to be a part of a series that its content I really enjoy, like speedruns. I love speedruns, like Awesome Games Done Quick. Like I always watch that stuff. I always donate, and it's just being able to like be like when I saw like a clip of it and they were using like terminology of like, wow, look at this like crazy like glitch, like no skip. I was like, I understand everything that they're talking about, and that looked amazing. And I think being able to really bring this energy to it and be a part of something that's really cool, like the scripts and like all the details and everything like that, and kind of seeing the end product is like, wow, I would have never imagined imagined it would have been this big and this amazing. So like just being able to be a part of like the end product, but also being able to do it and kind of like bring my own little flair of things is really, really awesome.
Yeah, David, when I interviewed David back in late May, he had a very similar response, to be honest with you. Absolute G, might I add. Okay, I think we've already covered this topic, but what made you want to be a voice actor?
Well, I mean, I've always kind of liked the idea of like, I've always been the kind of person to like wander off and like talk to myself and make up stories in my head and all that, and I always thought like, oh man, these are really cool characters and stuff like that, and I tried to give them voices and all that. And then eventually when I was given that microphone or anything like that, I would always like record that, so that way I would remember, oh, these stories are like really cool, I want to like record them and everything. And then when I found out that like voiceover is like an actual thing that people can do, I thought, oh man, I like the idea that there are people out there like just being able to tell a story and just being able to be a part of that, being able to like deliver a message is like really, really cool to me, yeah?
Huh, makes sense. Okay, final question is, how did you hear about MetaRunner?
Well, funny enough, David had recommended that I try out for Lamar, and so I got this email from the boys, Kevin, and oh my gosh, SMG4. Can't believe I forgot the brother's name.
Kevin and Luke?
Luke, thank you very much.
No problem.
Kevin and Luke. I always talk to Kevin more so. But yeah, I got this email being like, this MetaRunner, it's this show that we're going to be doing in Australia, and we're going to be recording. I was like, Australia? Speedruns? 3D? Okay. Alright. And so I sent him off an audition, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then they showed me a preview clip, and I was like, holy, yes, I'm super down, thank you. And then eventually, as I started recording more stuff for Lamar, they were like, would you be able to like audition for Dr. Sheridan? Because we think you have that energy to like really bring that franticness. And I was like, yes, absolutely, I will definitely try out. And they loved it, and I'm super grateful for that.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, well, that's about all the time we got, so thank you once again so much, Anthony. It was a real pleasure.
Yeah, no problem, likewise, and thank you for having me on.
Hey, no problem, man.